So after he got out of the Air Force, he resumed his bartending career and plunged full-time into the gay lifestyle. So he was, yas. He was yassing. He was living his best gay life. I'm assuming in the 60s, he's wearing like denim hot pants. He's got maybe like a big fro. I don't know. No, long hair and a mustache with denim hot pants. He did. Remember? He had long hair and a mustache.
I'm saying assless chaps.
Assless chaps. Yes, that seems like him. That's so Randy. That's so like Randy. One of his roommates later recalled that Randy used to go away for a few days, come back and lock himself in his room for a couple more days. He'd go down by the Marine base. He wouldn't talk about it much, just mumbled something about going down and looking for Marines. So he was sort of I think Marines were his thing. He was like into the Marine dudes for some reason. Do you like? Daddy like?
No, I was going,
I thought that was a daddy like.
No. It's Marines. It doesn't matter if they're a Marine or not.
They're all the same with the uniform off, right? Another said Randy was a very anally retentive kind of guy, very uptight and very strict with himself. Friends said that he had a really volatile temper and that he would, quote-unquote, wig out every so often.
I thought wig out was like a
drug thing.
Newish sort of phrase.
Nah, I think that's like a California. Yeah, dude, don't wig out, man. Things like that.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
In March 1970, a 13-year-old runaway named Joseph Alwyn Fancher met Randy on the boardwalk in Huntington Beach. Randy took him back to his place, plying him with marijuana, pills and wine, and showing him photos of men having sex. Joseph was semi-conscious when he was stripped and sodomized. He resisted just enough to make Randy threaten his life. So I think this is where the seeds start to get sown.
Things start taking a turn.
Oh yeah, a big turn. I mean, this kid's like 13 years old. How scary must that be?
Yeah.
I always wonder this when they say like plying him with marijuana, pills and wine, like if the kid was, like thinking it was a cool thing, like, oh yeah, give me that, or if they force fed them it. I never really get that. Either way.
Yeah.
So Randy didn't kill Joseph. Instead, the next morning he woke up and went to work, leaving him in his house. Joseph woke up dazed and then staggered barefoot to a nearby bar, where the police there called an ambulance for him. The doctors pumped his stomach at the emergency room, and Joseph led the police back to Randy's house. There, they found Joseph's shoes, along with various illegal drugs, and 76 photos of Randy having sex with various men. Again, at a time when this, being gay was illegal. But because the search was done without a warrant, police knew their case was doomed, and so they didn't make an arrest.
So they basically just broke in his house then, and without even getting a warrant first.
Yeah, I don't know what the
That's
situation
silly,
was. Yeah, because that's like a thing, you don't have to be like a criminologist to know that if evidence is gained in an illegal way, it's sort of, you can't use it.
You can't use it.
It's just done. You might as well just burn the evidence right there. In 1971, Randy found work at a bottled water plant in Huntington Beach. He drove a forklift truck by day and cruised to gay bars at night. He also enrolled briefly at Long Beach State University, taking education courses with an eye towards a teaching credential. So he had dreams, aspirations.
Wonder why a teaching credential?
Yeah, that's a bit odd, isn't it? Yeah, you wouldn't want him hanging around your kids. But the urge to party would ruin his chances at ever graduating. So he liked a bevy too much.
Sounds like a bevy and other things as well.
Yeah, and many other things. Classmate Jeff Graves became Randy's live-in lover, but Randy still lived up to his name, cruising gay bars for strangers, showing a decided preference for the Marines, like we mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
On October 5th, 1971, police found a man's naked, decomposing body beside Ortega Highway in southern Orange County. The body was identified as that of Wayne Joseph Duckett, a 30-year-old gay bartender from Long Beach who had been missing for 2 weeks. The coroner pegged his date of death around September 20th, but found no obvious signs of foul play.
Can I just say that's my date of birth?
It is your birthday.
Oh, not my date of birth, but my birthday.
Yeah, it's your birthday. Well, you weren't alive at this point.
Oh, I was definitely not alive then.
The man's clothing and personal effects were never found. Not too much more is known. However, this is the first recorded victim of Randy's. So this was later found to be the case. At the time, they obviously had no clue. And for a while, they had no idea who killed this dude. Nearly 15 months would pass until then, on December 26th, 1972, the body of 20-year-old Marine Edward Daniel Moore was found alongside the 405 freeway. I've ruined the somber mood. On the 405 freeway in Seal Beach. Edward was last seen alive in his Camp Pendleton Barracks on Christmas Eve. The body was found by a motorist at 1:45 a.m. and looked like it had been dumped from a moving car. Judging from his injuries, Edward had been strangled and bludgeoned. There were also bite marks on his genitals, and one of his socks was jammed into his rectum.
Oh my God.
A sock, man. I mean, why would you think? I don't know. The mind of these killers, whenever we talk about these stories, I always find myself going, why would you do that? Why?
Like, was it sexual? Was it to kind of disgrace them in any way, or what? I don't get it.
It's that thing, isn't it, where the mind of these serial killers and these twisted people is so unique that as much as we can try, we will never really understand how that mind works. And I mean, thank God to a point, because I would never want to slip into that mindset. It just sounds the most vilest thing to do.
Well, if you do, I'll be out these doors very quick.
That's one of the interesting things, and that's why I get maybe why we do this podcast, because these people are so disturbed, but also it's that interesting side to it as well. It's like,
it is really, really interesting.
What makes them? I mean, people make their whole frigging careers out of this shit, don't they? Writing books and stuff, and criminal psychologists. We're not going to figure it out in a podcast, probably, but we can try.
Imagine if we did.
We are not. I can let you know now. We are not. So it's at this point where Randy just keeps killing and killing now. And when I say that, you'll understand just how much. 6 weeks after Edward's body was found, on February 6th, 1973, the naked body of an unknown man was found beside the Terminal Island Freeway in the Wilmington district of Los Angeles. He was strangled a day or two before he was found and was about 18 years old. The victim, who has still to this very day never been identified, just like Edward, also had a sock stuffed into his anus.
How has he not been identified?
I don't know. People just went missing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe if someone wasn't looking for you, if you had no next of kin, no family who were curious to know where you are, if you just dropped off the map, you've got no one, you've got no one searching for you.
He could be from like a different country or anything.
I don't think he was.
Oh, right, okay.
No, it doesn't. Usually with these things, they mention if they're from other countries or anything.
Well, if they don't know who he is, he could be.
Yeah, I guess he could be. I guess, maybe. Easter Sunday came around and brought with it another unknown body, discarded in, again, Huntington Beach. This one was fully dressed except for shoes and socks, although his trousers were covered in blood. Further inspection would show that his genitals had actually been removed. There were ligature marks scarred on his wrists, and the cause of death was a toss-up between either blood loss or asphyxiation.
Jesus.
It just gets worse as well. It really does. That same year, yet another body was found. Another unknown male who had actually been dismembered and scattered across 2 counties.
What?
The head was found in Long Beach, the torso, right leg and both arms in San Pedro, the left leg in Sunset Beach. Bondage marks were evident, and the remains had been refrigerated prior to the dumping. The victim's hands were never found.
Oh my God.
Doesn't sound like a nice way to go. Definitely not. We've got
definitely try to scatter the body around to try and cover the tracks a little bit.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. I'll just let you know, it's not spoiling anything really, but this is the only time I think he does this, so this is very peculiar.
Okay.
It doesn't become a habit. Maybe he just realised it was fucking effort to go chopping people and going around. There's a couple more of these, so you better hold on tight.
Mm-hmm.
Ron Weeb, which apologies if I
legit thought you was going to say Ron Weasley.
No, not Ron Weasley. No. Ron Weeb. Apologies if I pronounced that name wrong. He was a 20-year-old from Fullerton who vanished while bar hopping on July 28th, 1973. His body was found 2 days later beside the 405 freeway in Seal Beach. He was fully clothed but barefoot, beaten and strangled. He'd been bound and apparently hung upside down while being tortured. There were bites on his stomach and his penis. And guess where they found his sock?
In his bum.
Yep. Yeah, good guess. The body of that year's last victim was 23-year-old art student Vincent Cruz Mestas. His body was pulled from a ravine in the San Bernardino Mountains on December... I'm not laughing at the killing, I'm laughing at my almost really fucking up that as well. I'm not like, oh, he's found there. Oh, no, definitely not. December 29th, 1973. Just like Ron, he was clothed but barefoot. One of his socks jammed into his anus. Vincent's face and head were freshly shaven, which is... This is the thing that he only does it once. I know, that's like a... There's so many things that I just don't understand why they do them.
Do you think it's... I don't know why, but...
Like a fetish?
No,
fetish?
If the person was taking drugs, usually you can find it in her follicles, can't you?
That is true. Maybe he was thinking that there. Maybe
I don't know why he would, but...
Maybe. You might be onto something. Yeah, but these people are so irrational, aren't they? And so bizarre. So maybe in his bizarre mind, he thought, okay, let's shave the hair off, maybe, to... get rid of it, or maybe it was just like a fetish he had because people like to shave people, don't they? I think that's like a thing. Everything's a fucking thing. Everything's a thing. If you can think of the most weirdest fucked up thing in the world, someone will be into it. Someone will be into it. So his hands were missing, like the other guy's was.
Nothing else.
Plastic sandwich bags covered the bloody stumps. And this bit really, as a human being, this is gross, but as a guy specifically, this really makes you shudder. A pencil-sized object, which was never identified, had been forced into his penis prior to the death. Oh, doesn't that just make you wince as a dude?
Down his pee hole.
Down his pee hole. I've got to give you a heads up, guys.
Again, that's not with a pencil, but that's a thing as well.
Yes, that is a thing. Rodding, I believe it's called, right?
Something like that.
I think.
Oh.
Rodding. I think it's called rodding. Rodding. But yeah, I've got to give you a heads up, guys. Unlike, the chopping up of the body and spreading it around, didn't really take to that. Didn't really take to shaving them as well. That was only a one-off. This pencil thing, though.